here you go. This is Emily C., my new bestie.
I hate the idea that someone out there hates me. I even hate thinking that Al-Qaeda hates me. I think if they got to know me, they wouldn't hate me.
This stole the show. Emily C. was phenomenal.
There's something you need to know.
What?
You're doing great.
Look at my baby. Here she is. Emily. 10 out of 10. Huge fan.
I see Emily C says 123. I trust her. She's really good.
Listen, Turtle, you gotta watch your language. I'm already live. So you need to follow the FCC guidelines.
She destroyed, left nothing in her path. It was so good.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being patient. We had technical difficulties, I had life difficulties, and now we're here, and I'm so excited. I'm Emily C. You might know me as Yuri Buchanan, or Kelly Dever, or the man of the hour, Michael Proctor. But today I'm just me, and today, I am so happy that you guys are here. Sorry, already distracted by the chat. You guys are the best. I started my morning with Nurse Kim and Betero, which is like the best way to start the day. Just put me in a great mood. Betero was talking about how nobody in his house wakes up until afternoon. My son woke me up at 4 today, so like I love that for him. So we're just like loopy, and it's gonna be a great day. I'm so happy that you guys are here. I could not be more excited to welcome Corri Hopkins to the show today. You might know Corri as Marbury v. Mad on Twitter. For some context for our conversation today, Karen Reed's first trial was the first trial I had ever watched or ever followed. So by the end of the retrial, I felt like I was like just getting kind of like the lay of the land of like what happens during trials. And then all of a sudden, this like superhero named Corri came onto the scene and started filing all of these like legal documents and getting like secret documents back that I didn't even know like regular people could access. So I have a lot of questions for her today. To me, Corri is basically like our own personal Elle Woods, and I am so excited to have the chance to get to learn more about her and to learn from her today. So please join me in welcoming Corri. Hello.
Hi, Emily. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. I am so happy that we're doing this. Look at you in your pink, like the real Elle Woods.
Yeah, I try to tie it all together. Theme of the show.
I love it. I love this. I like to start every show by asking our guests and asking the chat which sea creature you feel like today. So I'm curious to hear from you, and chat, if you feel comfortable sharing how you're feeling and why, let us know.
I'm going to go seahorse because seahorses are awesome, and because you've made me feel so welcome, and I'm so excited to be here. You've been an incredible host from minute one, so I'm going with loved seahorse.
I mean, I love you as I'm already just lost. As a resident of Norfolk County, like, we needed you and you just swooped in, and like, yeah, it is like real love over here. So I'm glad that you feel that way. Okay, I have notes. Hold on. Let me see where we're going. Okay, I'm gonna look at the chat. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
No, it's okay. The chat seems very hard to follow and talk at the same time. I cannot do it. Too easily distracted. So props to you.
So I'm not doing it well though. I'm already so distracted. But everybody's so happy that you're here. Like you really are just our little superhero. Before we get into the details about why Michael Morrissey probably like has nightmares about you every night, I want to take this time now that I have you to get the chance to know you a little bit more and for everybody to meet you. I was doing my research and it turns out you had an entire like very successful career before you even stepped into law. You guys, Corri has, look at this IMDb page. Like, I'm sorry. Can you tell us about what you were doing before you put your legal mind to work?
Yes, I'm looking at the IMDb list because I forget some of these shows that I worked on even. I did locations for movies and TV shows in New York. So I would make the deal with the location where we're going to film. Really involved a lot of addressing angry New Yorkers. And I had a really good relationship with NYPD because there's a movie TV unit of NYPD that's assigned to essentially be on set every day, or at least when you're filming outside, and make sure people don't go off the rails, because film crews will definitely do as much as they are allowed to and beyond. So I had a good relationship with them, a lot of the, close relationship with the Teamsters, that kind of thing. I tried to do the stunt units for the movies, at least on the list. I tried to do the stunt units because that was a lot more fun, like planning the route for any sort of stunt scene that's going to be filmed. And also there's no actors in stunt units, really. It's just the stunt people.
So no divas?
No divas. I mean, some of the stunt coordinators, give or take, but yeah, really there's no diva behavior. It's not like the like Will Smith. I don't know, in the news like 10 years ago, Will Smith had a gym trailer that he wanted to park near set, and I think it was 3 stories tall and had these massive pop outs, and they parked it in Soho one day and the city went insane. And so they, everyone complains, all the store owners, all the neighborhood associations, the mayor's office, like talking to those people. That is my job, or was my job for a long time.
Wow. And you have to just be like, everybody calm down.
A lot of screaming. I mean, I've been yelled at by, producers, the mayor's office, NYPD sergeants, lieutenants, captains, all the way up the chain, just because things get out of hand really quickly on set. So we would do a lot of like shutdowns of big chunks of like 5th Avenue, 6th Avenue, that sort of thing. And just try to keep everybody safe, try to keep the peace and coordinate, not, jamming up Midtown Manhattan basically for a film shoot, which was really fun for a really long time.
No wonder you're not scared of like little Tully and Michael Morrissey and everyone like that. Yeah, that has to thicken your skin.
I completely had to fake it till you make it. Like once I realized what was going, I started out as like a Southerner at 22 years old. So like, sorry this, sorry that, this. And then with Teamsters, it does not work. They're, and New
Yorkers are like, what does sorry mean?
Yes. The best advice I ever got when I moved to the city was, you have got to stop saying sorry. And now I don't ever say it at work, ever.
Hell yeah.
It took me like years to train that out of me. But anyways, the Teamsters and I eventually got along, and all the department heads, that kind of thing. After, plenty of fights, I realized what I needed to do. And it really throws them off when you don't show fear to a crazy degree. So I the positive reinforcement of it continuing to work, just sort of trained myself that way.
That's a good life lesson in general. Like, even if you're scared, just tuck it deep down inside and show no fear.
Yeah.
So then how did you pivot from that? How did that lead you into law school?
Well, I started in the film business I was really planning on just working in the film business for a year or so. I have a lot of family in LA that works in film. So I was, I'll just go to New York for a year and then figure out like a real job. Then I was 22. I started making like decent money, and I was like, oh, this is fun. And I stayed forever for 10 years. Then I sort of look at your, the next steps up the ladder, and I saw that basically everyone at every rung above me where I was looks like 20 years older than they actually are, because you work insane hours, like 16, 20 hours a day, overnights all the time. And I was like, I can't do this. It is fun. It's fun, but it's also, it's like, it can be torture when you've got like a 2-week night scene and you have to make the deals with the city during the day and then be for the shoot every night. I'm like, I'm not doing this. So I've got to figure out a transition. And I was like, well, I probably need a degree to transition, because I can't even explain to people what my job is. It's so bizarre and whatever. So I thought I would love like a English or history degree, but I'm well aware that that is not going to pay the bills. So how about law school?
I was an English major.
I was history major. Yeah.
So you guys, I was reading, I was doing my Corri research, and I feel like this sentence just sums you up. This is from her firm's page. It says, Corri graduated magna cum laude from Wake Forest University School of Law. Also, while in law school, she received a Master of Arts degree in sustainability from Wake Forest University Graduate School. So you just, while everybody is like trudging through law school, like trying to get by each day, you were like, oh, I'll just go get also an entire other degree.
Well, my thought process was, I'm 10 years older than a lot of the people that I am in class with, because I lived in New York for 10 years before I went to law school. So I need to do something that makes me seem more appealing than, just grades and whatever, like other people will. And Wake Forest makes it not easy, but makes it possible to get a degree, a master's degree. So I figured, let's go for it. So yeah.
And that sentiment is proof in my theory that all the wrong people have imposter syndrome, because the Michael Proctors of the world are like, yeah, I belong here. I belong in this room. And you're like, I need to do more to prove that they want me. So yeah, it's just, I knew I was right about that. So then you became a civil defense attorney. Is that correct?
That's right.
And why did you choose civil defense?
I really liked a lot of the people that I worked with when I summered at different firms in civil defense world, and I do business litigation. So, and I do a lot of aggregate litigation, meaning class action defense, data security, data privacy litigations, like with respect to data breaches, for example, a lot of the privacy statutes and that sort of thing. And it's fun. The strategies that you can come up with in a suit that's really complex like that is the most fun part of litigation. That is where I have the most fun, I guess, in the nerdiest way possible. So the more complex the case is, the more opportunities for strategy there are. And that is, I think, why I like it.
I get that. It's like kind of like a maze. You're like, okay, if we go down this road, then we'll add in this, and then we can like attack them in this way. That's cool.
Yeah, I kind of think about like chess pieces sometimes. Like you drop a chess, like a discovery request that you send to the other side early in litigation, and they think it means one thing, but you know what you're trying to get at else because of how you worded it. And then come summary judgment, drop it on them. And that's the kind of strategy that I enjoy.
We're playing mind games. I like this. Oh, that's fun. So then how did you get into the Karen Read trial?
Probably like a lot of people, when the Hoslong article started to come out, obviously that originated with Turtle Boy, and I think was picked up by other media outlets shortly thereafter. My partner sent me a link and was like, look at this crazy whatever. And I read it. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. How is this woman being prosecuted? And now
your partner regrets every day sending you that.
Yes. No, not at all. She is very enthusiastic about it, like I am, and is generally patient. Some days she's like, oh my God, with your legal arguments here, we're good. We're all set. But generally speaking, she's very tolerant and supportive.
I love that. So you followed the first trial, you're following the second trial. At what point did you realize that if you didn't kind of like go this next step to like pursue these documents, nobody was going to?
Well, I kind of thought that other people probably were, because, when you can look at there are certain documents that are publicly available with respect to public records requests. And there are a lot of the reporters have submitted requests. And so I was like, someone else is going to get this, that kind of thing. But I did not love the MassDOT's response to one of my public records requests. And that is sort of what sent me down the road of this has to be taken a little further.
So what were you, wait, what were you asking for and what was their response?
So for MassDOT, I originally requested crash reports. Melanie Little, who I think we all know and love, had obsessed, mentioned the lack of a crash report for a really long time. And I thought that I would just submit a request and see if we can get one from DOT, because they seem like they would have the crash report, if anyone, maybe. And I submitted those requests. They wouldn't give me anything during the trial, which I understand. It's ongoing criminal prosecution. It's, if something came out based on what they submitted or what they disclosed during trial that's prejudicial to a defendant, that would be bad. So, right. But after the trial, June 18th, I resubmitted all my requests and I thought, okay, now I'm going to get it. The verdict is read on June 18th, 2025. The criminal case is over. The response they sent me back said that they could not reveal or not disclose any of the documents to me because of the ongoing investigation into the civil case, which seems insane. I mean, sometimes there are parallel criminal investigations with civil cases, but that is before a criminal case has happened. And that was not this. It is over. So I knew either it was not true, or if there is, for some insane reason, an investigation into the civil case, that's pretty juicy on its own. So yeah. That's but it felt like a very dismissive response, and I felt like they weren't actually.
So who were they saying was doing the investigating for the civil case?
So funny that you say that. I submitted public records requests to MassDOT and MSP, and I said to MSP, are you investigating the civil case? And to MassDOT, what agency are you saying is investigating the civil case? No response to that, of course. And in Massachusetts, you can ask questions in your public records request, which can be helpful sometimes, like if you're trying to narrow down the scope of a request to ask a question, that kind of thing. I have yet to receive an answer to any request that I have submitted to any agency, and you can't appeal the questions or non-answer to questions. So it's kind of like fake that it exists.
They're like, put that in the trash. Bye.
Totally. You feel heard because you've submitted your request, but we're definitely not going to answer it. So whatever.
Do they even respond and not answer? Or there's just no response at all?
I don't think I got a response to any of the ones that I submitted, or at least not before I filed a lawsuit.
So that's what I was going to ask you. So because I was confused the difference between like a public records request and a lawsuit. So are all of these technically things that you should have been able to get as a public records request?
Yes. Okay.
And then because you didn't get those responses, that's when you filed these lawsuits. And what is a lawsuit? I guess that's like a stupid question, but like, what does that mean that it's a lawsuit?
Well, I can explain a little bit the public records process, which gets us to lawsuit, if that is...
Okay. Yeah, please.
So you submit a public records request to an agency that is subject to the public records law in Massachusetts. And I really like the Massachusetts public records law. I think it's much clearer than most other public records laws. The rules are fairly straightforward. I mean, no statute is like fun to read. They're always confusing a little bit, but generally speaking, it is fairly easy to follow. And you submit the request. Just go away. I'm buffering.
Oh, no, there you are. You're good.
Are you still there?
Yes, I can see you and hear you.
Okay, so you submit the request. Okay. And the agency has 10 business days to respond. So if they don't respond within 10 business days, then they cannot charge you a fee for producing the public records, which is great. And that has been very helpful and persuasive in my lawsuits. Then
Is there normally a fee so if they do get back to you in time, there's a fee?
If it's a one document or a few documents being produced, no. But if it's, hundreds of documents, even probably 50 or more, is going to result in a fee of some kind for the agency's time. Generally, they charge $25 an hour to review and redact certain things from documents.
And they're like, this is taking a long time. Oh, it took us 48 hours.
Yeah, so they provide an estimate of cost before they actually produce the document, but it is just an estimate. And I'm going through this with an agency now, and I'm really very curious to see if on the back end, they're like, here's the document. Oh, by the way, it's an extra, $500. We'll find out. But yeah, so you in theory get a response from the agency that either says, here are the documents, or we can't produce all of the documents to you because of some exemption that applies, whatever. If you don't agree with the exemption, if they don't respond, something like that, you can appeal the agency response to the supervisor of records in Massachusetts. However, what I have learned is that the supervisor, if your request has anything remotely to do with Karen Reed, if you appeal it to the supervisor of records, they are going to say they are not going to produce it because of ongoing litigation. That is not a blanket exemption that agencies are really allowed to apply. And I think if it was brought in court, then the supervisor would not be able to assert that especially with respect to this case where the criminal case is gone and the civil case is ongoing. That's just not what that provision is supposed to be used for. So then you get to the end. So you can then, if you get the appeals response and you don't like it, or without even appealing it to the supervisor of records, then you can file a lawsuit. And that is all the things. It involves filing a lawsuit in court. For agencies, it's the lawsuits have to be filed in Suffolk County, and it initiates a legal action. And that means you have to serve the complaint that I drafted the complaint, which is saying all the relief that I want in this lawsuit, everything, and a factual basis for it. Submitted that, and then I get a summons back from the court, and then I serve the summons and the complaint on the agency and the attorney general in Massachusetts. And then deadlines start. They have, 20 days or something like that to respond and that kind of thing. And then it gets real.
So you did that to MassDOT, Mass State Police. Was the BPD also a lawsuit, or that was?
They are not. I did not sue them because they have been very responsive, generally speaking. I did see that they had a massive lawsuit brought against them a couple of years ago with respect to public records violations. And there's actually something on the website that references the lawsuit, which strongly suggests to me that the reason they're so responsive is because they got in trouble across the board a few years ago. So they're pretty good.
Interesting. Now I want to look that up. That's so interesting. So it was, and then Norfolk County is also a lawsuit.
Yes.
And that's for the sidebars.
Yes.
Okay. So the MassDOT and the Mass State Police, I think you had said that they had a deadline of like the week of October 20th, right? Which is today's the last day of that week.
Right.
Did you get everything that you were promised?
Everything is a strong word, I would say. So we have the MassDOT lawsuit, which sought these crash reports, and the back and forth with them was kind of wild. They would tell me, ideally, when you're seeking emails, you want to sort of identify a finite time period, and if possible, custodians, meaning identify the people whose emails you want them to review by the individual people, if at all possible, or say at least the email domain. Something like that to make it feasible to search it in sort of a reasonable way. Or you can offer search terms. So DOT suggested search terms, and they thought, the search terms have returned hundreds of thousands of documents. It's going to take, forever to review these and be, expensive, that sort of thing. And then they denied it. Then they ended up denying their request. So whatever. But then the next time after I filed a lawsuit, the Attorney General, well, I filed the lawsuit and then DOT produced a bunch of documents 3 days later. And then the Attorney General.
It's almost like the lawsuit. Wait, is that what this tweet was about?
That was actually
or is
about
that
the
different
search terms issue, but yeah, that's part of it. Is I filed the lawsuit 3 days later. They produced a handful of emails. Trooper Paul's report was probably the most entertaining thing to come out of that, and some of the crash report adjacent documents like a fatal accident notification report, which is something that is Massachusetts requirement, immediate threat report, and the actual citation that was filled out by Michael Proctor with respect to that. So they produced that. Then the Attorney General's office calls me and says, just want you to know, they did not know about your lawsuit when they produced these documents. I'm like, okay.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on that one. But I mean, come on, guys. So anyways, so we've gone back and forth about search terms. They tell me then that my search terms have generated millions of documents, and that's going to be even harder.
That's what this one is.
That's what this is. And then in October, they're like, oh, actually, we need an extension of time to respond just to keep reviewing all these documents. I'm like, that's fine. How many documents? They're like, well, it's actually 0. I'm like, I'm sorry. Because every time we've talked, at a minimum, you've said it's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of emails, and now it's 0. And the I can't remember if it was DOT or the Attorney General that said, well, we, by the way, removed Karen Reed from the search terms. And I'm like, guys, I don't know how you thought I was going to take that, but how I am currently taking it is not well.
Like they thought you were going to be like, oh, thank you. That makes my life easier. I didn't want those anyways.
Right. And I was like, okay, in my complaint, in my motion for preliminary injunction, and in my email, I said, if these search terms are too broad, let me know and I will provide more tailored ones. And so I think that is why they had to give in. And
so they're like, it was so broad, we just deleted them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's one way to approach it, but they very quickly, immediately agreed to add back in Karen Reed. And I said, the word Karen within 2 of Reed, because, a lot of documents that they would have are going to be Reed, Karen. I didn't do every spelling iteration because I just didn't. So now they had until October 20th to produce whatever they had searched at that point, but we just negotiated the new search terms the week before, so I didn't expect them to produce stuff. But they did produce documents on Friday, oddly, but they were essentially like the original looking version of documents I already had, so it was not that interesting. They still have one more area to search to sort of finish out that lawsuit.
This must be so interesting every time you get one of these drops, because you don't really know what's going to be in it. Like you don't know how many things you're going to get back and like what it's going to be. And so it's like Christmas. It's like you're opening it up and it could be like the best present, or it could be just nothing.
Yes. And it has been both things thus far in this experience. So to answer your question about this past week, and my lawsuit against MSP. So I had 4 requests to MSP. They never responded to any of them ever. So, and some of them had been hanging out there for a couple of months. And when I realized they didn't respond, I was like, ooh, then I'm going to ask for what I really want, which is all emails to or from Proctor or Tully related to Karen Reed investigation. And they didn't respond to that one either, which means, first of all, that
I wonder why.
Yeah, no kidding. They certainly thought I would go away. So I filed that lawsuit and I filed a motion for preliminary injunction with it. And that is like the key to getting anything quickly. There are not that many bases for seeking a preliminary injunction, but if you can get one, it's the only way that the agency is going to respond within less than a matter of months because the process
So what
for
does that
filing a
mean? What does
motion.
a preliminary injunction mean?
So it's in civil world, say you're a company and you find out that a former employee has taken your trade secrets to a new company and is using it and either making it public or earning revenue from it, then you can seek a temporary restraining order, a TRO. And that's often ex parte. You run to the court and say, like, within 48 hours, I need you to order them to stop. And that usually lasts for about 10 days. So I didn't do that, but it's usually the first step in a sort of emergency situation. Then after a TRO, or in my case, just from scratch, you seek a preliminary injunction. And that is really to either stop, in this case, an agency from doing something or force them to do something fairly quickly. And it lasts, usually a preliminary injunction probably is a year or less in term. And it's usually to get someone to stop doing something. In this case, I wanted MSP to be forced to do something. Yes. Right after I filed my lawsuit, I think I filed the MSP one on a Monday. By Friday, they had responded to 3 of my 4 requests with documents or saying that they don't have responsive documents, which is, it just goes to show the lawsuit is really what makes them respond. If you're not getting an answer, they may just not ever respond.
If they don't want you to keep filing lawsuits, then they need to stop proving that they work so well.
I totally agree. And I had been trolling the Mass Court's website for other public record suits against MSP, and I saw a pattern where they never get past the initial stage. It's lawsuit filed, some emergency motion, potentially immediate settlement because the agency produced documents. I'm like, okay, so they are obviously motivated by lawsuits and they turn stuff over immediately afterwards. And that is what I am hoping they would do here. And it's what they did do here. The AG said, essentially, we responded to those 3 requests, but not the Tully and Proctor one because it's too much. The emails it's a huge amount. But we'll agree to basically everything you want. And what I wanted was an assurance that they weren't going to fight me on the fee waiver issue because they never responded. So they missed the deadline, which means fees are waived. And they agreed to that. They agreed to produce documents by October 22nd, however much they had. And they agreed then to produce everything within a reasonable time afterwards. And they said that they have 669 documents that are responsive to my Tully Proctor email request. So there's that.
So you will eventually get the Tully and Proctor emails that you were seeking in the first place. They're just beating around the bush a little bit to get there. Is that kind of the...
Well, we'll see how long. There's not an order in place that says you have to review this many documents by this time because it's tough to know how complex they are, if they're going to require a lot of redactions for personal information, that kind of thing. Oh, if they don't respond to a lawsuit, Trial Channel asks, what happens if they don't respond? That's even better because then you file a motion, you seek entry of default. I don't know what the exact process is in Massachusetts. It's different everywhere, but you seek default. Or that means that everything that I've alleged in my complaint is deemed admitted by MSP. And then, so what I've sought in my complaint is, all the fees and costs associated with the lawsuit, an order requiring them to produce all the documents, punitive damages in specific statutory amounts. Everything that I want is admitted. So that is ideal.
So we're not really that mad if they don't respond because eventually that would end up better.
Right, which they know good and well, and they are not going to let happen. So they responded. They agreed to everything I wanted. Yes, my eyes at the thought of that. Very exciting. Anyways, my brain just went down a very excited road about all the fun things I could have put in the complaint to get them to admit to, but nevertheless, they did not. So they owe me these documents. They have to be able to review them. I don't want to be unreasonable in negotiating because then they can go to the court and say this crazy pro se plaintiff is being unreasonable and no one likes that. So, trying to accommodate. So anyways, on Wednesday, they produced the first batch of documents, 20 emails. Almost all of the emails had attachments, but they didn't produce the attachments. So I immediately was like, I'm sorry. Are you suggesting that these attachments do not need to be produced because I asked for emails, or what's going on here? And they were like, no, don't yell at us. We're going to produce these eventually. We're going to get to it. And all the future batches, we're going to try to make sure that the attachments go with the emails. I'm like, great. So it took them a month to do these 20 emails. I think they should have reviewed more by that point, but it seems like it's going to take a long time to get through almost 700.
I mean, it seems like dribs and drabs is like that's their way of life around here. They're like, here's a little bit and here's a little bit more.
Yep.
Was there anything, do you want me to pull that up? Was there anything in there you wanted to go over from that?
Yeah, let's look at those emails. There's a
Okay.
couple things. Actually, I kind of wanted to crowdsource some information and see if folks know what some of these
Yeah.
things relate to.
You know that people will. Hang on one sec. Let me. This
So
is
that-
this
yeah,
is
the
the one
back-
that has those weird like links on the front.
Yes, well, looks like links and what I thought were going to be links, but they are in
Yeah, and
fact
they're just not.
numbers written in blue.
Okay, let me see.
So what they did was, while you're looking for that, they numbered all of the emails with a Bates number, is what we would call it normally in litigation, just to say, you know, these are, so you know exactly which document you're talking about. You refer to the number, and they're not in chronological order, which is fairly annoying. So I sent you a chronological order one. I moved them around to put them in order because timelines are everything. Timelines are the key to success in litigation. Almost every case, in my opinion, is decided on timelines. So when you put emails and this sort of thing in order, you can see stories start to develop.
Is the one in order the one that starts with Kevin O'Hara?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I have. I have to put it into Google Drive first, it looks like, to be able to. Why isn't anything just like easy?
I don't know. I have like a work computer and private Google Drives, and it's like to get between the two, I'm like, can I just like bang my phone against my computer? Because I cannot send this to like this, you know.
I was going through some of the things that you sent me, and I was actually picturing, I was like, I bet her computer has so many tabs open, because by the time I was done looking at everything, there were like tabs and screenshots. And where is this?
Usually a lot of tabs on Westlaw, where I research cases, where most attorneys, I think, have access to LexisNexis or Westlaw. That's where I live. And all of a sudden I have like a bajillion Westlaw tabs open. And I'm like, okay, we need to rein it back in.
That sounds like fun, though. Okay, slides and PDFs.
Yes.
Your computer. Why isn't this working?
You keep on doing that, and I can
keep teaching us.
I'll talk a little bit more about the lawsuits. So the lawsuits are, when you're submitting public records requests, the 10 business days is really critical. But MassDOT, I'm with you. I love
MassDOT.
Legal research too. Yes. So you submit these records requests. Every agency in Massachusetts does it differently. Oh, there we are. Okay. So this is the table of contents I get as the first document production. And I'm thinking that those blue things are links because I don't have the attachment. So surely they exist somewhere, whatever.
Narrator. They were not links. They were just blue.
Oh, I like this. The narrator. Okay. Can you see that? Can everyone see it?
I can see it. Can you guys see this?
Now I can see it. Okay, this is the earliest email that I got in the group, and this is from January 31st of 2022 from good old Kevin O'Hara. I forget his Lieutenant O'Hara. Very professional email, which I think we would all expect, attaching a map, 2 maps, and a report. The cert report, probably the one that the jury wanted in the first trial during deliberations. He says map 1 has the sneaker and fire hydrant marked. Map 2 has all items. I would love to see what that means and what map he created, and if it matches with the one that Trooper Paul used. Yes, a cert report.
Paging Victoria George. She was talking about this last week, saying that the minute that the first jury asked for the cert report, she knew it was going down a bad road. Oops.
Yes, exactly. That is, yep, we all remember burned in our brains. So then it says the sneaker was located at and provides a longitude latitude, which is incredibly specific. And I don't know if we already knew that.
No, I was wondering about that because in this retrial, remember they were talking about I can't remember if it was AJ or Leslie was saying like you put the thing here, you do I think it was AJ and he was like you put a string here, you put a string there, you get a location.
Cross coordinates.
And they were like, "No, we don't know how to do that."
Yes.
Oh,
right.
you
Cross
do.
coordinates, fairly basic. And he says, please let me know if you need specific coordinates. So do you have them for everything? Because that sure is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. This email to me provides a lot of context for why Kevin O'Hara looked like he couldn't even look up when he was testifying in the second trial. Like he looked like he was trying to dig a hole in the ground with his eyes and like just bury himself in it. Like he couldn't he was like, I'm a part of something I didn't know I was getting into, and now it's too late for me to turn this train around.
And he is right.
Yeah. Okay, so that's juicy. That's number one. Here's the next one.
This is less juicy because we don't have any of the attachments. This is email from Tully, from Proctor to Tully, and then Tully sends it to himself. And what I think this is Karen's phone's call detail records from the carrier, which provide a lot of information. However, when you look at the attachment names, a lot of them say no results, which is not a surprise given this is from what, May of 2022? I mean, 4 months later.
It's almost like they did search her phones.
Almost. This is fairly boring. This is a proctor just summarizing the arrest following the up charges on June 9th. And I think there's a few different versions of this email in a row. Yeah, same thing.
And like, I love that this counts as a page.
Yep, sure does.
Is this the same thing still?
Same thing. Yep.
Yes. Okay. This cracked me up.
Right. This email is from someone at MSP to Tully, basically saying, "Hey, you've got a couple of vehicles in our whatever H3 is, some facility. Can you get them out, or what's the deal?"
And then the response was, "There's a Jeep that's been there since 1986. Can we remove it?" And like, I get why they have to do that because it's still an unsolved case, but there's something about the idea that there's been a Jeep sitting there since 1986 and somebody just decided to be like, can we move that? Like, that's funny.
I would love, it's probably a very cool vehicle. I don't you feel like we should try to solve that homicide?
Corey, we could do this.
I think
like,
so.
I really think, I bet it was the husband. I don't know what the story was, but that's just my guess.
I say let's start there and work our way out. You know, like how investigations go.
I might look this up. The Simone case. Watch out, Simone's. Okay, so then here's another great page of nothing.
This one is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Should I read it? I can't do
Yes,
Yuri's
please.
voice. You've been Yuri before. Actually, you should probably read it.
I would talk like this if I'm Yuri.
Yes, you talk like this. I'll do the intro. This is an email
Perfect.
from Yuri Buchanan to Tully and Proctor. Subject, McCabe harassment. Date, July 28th, 2023. Attachment, McCabe harassment doc.
And just about the date, does anybody know if that was before or after she went to try to get the when she said to the judge, is there anything you can do to get Turtle Boy to stop blogging? I don't know if that date was before or after. Anyways, it says, please see attached report. I'm sorry for the delay, but the DA had me helping Traub with the responses to those media outlets. I will work to start on the Alberts now. Let me know what, if anything, we love that, you want me to fix. Also, I left the case number out since we have not generated one yet. Let me know if you want me to do that or just wait for you to do it. Sergeant
Doesn't
Yuri
this give
Buchanan.
you, I don't know if you watched the Rush trial or followed that at all, but it kind of gives me Rush trial vibes where the special prosecutor in that case put the Seth Kinney bullets under a different case number than all the rest.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
not associated with it. That kind of is what I am vibing from this. It's we don't have a case number, but it clearly is a case. Okay, yeah, that date is, I'll let you do the chat, thanks.
So that date is the date of the rolling rally. That's interesting. Wait, so they were making the case before it existed?
Yes. It's, I don't know how it works. I would imagine that you create a case number once you start to collect evidence, because otherwise, where do you put it? I don't know. It seems like things could go awry if you do anything other than that. But clearly there were McCabe and Albert complaints long before July of 2023, I believe. But they don't have.
They've been complaining since day one, basically.
Right.
It seems like they're just
April.
complaints.
So was that person saying that 28th was July 28th, 2023 was the day of the rolling rally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, let's see. Why rolling rally? The rolling rally was July 23rd, 2023.
Okay. So they took whatever information from that event and then created whatever these documents are.
Or July 20th. Yeah. So that's when they were like, he's harassing us.
Yep.
Our front door was wide open, but it was still harassment.
I would love to know what Yuri was contributing to the DA and David Traub, or Traub, however you pronounce that, who was the PR guy for the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, in responding to media outlets.
Yeah. Is that Yuri's job?
I can't imagine that it is, but maybe. What information was he providing? Would love to know. When was the hostage video? Wasn't that in like August of 2023?
Let's see, Michael Morrissey.
I just watched it the other day because I was watching one of Melanie's episodes from pre-trial 1 where she's going over stuff, and listening to the pre-trial 1 stuff now, knowing everything we know, is wild.
The hostage video was August 25th, 2023.
Okay.
I did a version of the hostage video I need to send to you. Being Michael Morrissey was not something I want to ever do again.
Well, we never see him. He doesn't give us any other material hardly, so I feel like you're in the clear.
Okay, so that is interesting. What's this next one?
Immediately followed by Yuri saying, please disregard the last version. Had to add something. This is more accurate. Ooh, what did he add?
And like, who told him, like, did he forget to save a version on his computer and then he realized it? Or did somebody contact him and say, wait, add this in?
Well, this was just a little bit later, like minutes later, I think. So maybe it was just maybe he didn't like the font it was in originally and was like, I needed Century School book to really. So
1833 and then 1850. That's long enough for Jen McCabe to call him and say, you need to put in that Turtle Boy said.
It is. 22 seconds is long enough for a phone call.
That is true. It's okay, so then
this is just a report from the forensics office.
Oh, we like Ash Valier. We like them. Okay, so then I like that they just put in some of these random things. Okay.
So this is the next day, the day after the McCabe harassment email. This one, same, from Yuri to Tully and Proctor. Subject, Albert's harassment. Date, July 29th, 2023. Attachment, Albert's harassment, .doc.
Interesting.
Yeah, see attached. You know, nothing terribly interesting. But the next one is a little more interesting. Same email thread. Yuri, I suppose Yuri sent the same email to the same group, but he says, actually forgot to mention the live episodes.
Who does live episodes?
Dunno.
Does anybody know who does YouTube presentations live?
Just spitballing some names. There's some things to think about there. And this request, mind you, my request was for documents related to the investigation into Karen Reed and the alleged car crash and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't anything, it wasn't Turtle Boy, certainly. But I think the live episodes reference suggests that those two were intertwined already as early as July 29th, 2023 in the MSP's mind. That's what it suggests to me.
Yeah. Wait, I just realized I made a timeline of all of everything that happened to Aiden that year. Hold on.
Beautiful timeline. I love that timeline. I want to make one for like a case I'm actually working on.
If you ever need anything, that's my jam. If people give me just a list and then I can make it pretty. Okay, wait, I want to just have this as a reference. So that, I mean, obviously it's StreamYard, so there's like 400 steps. Can you have two documents open? Maybe not. Never mind, I'll just have it on my computer. I'll just be looking at it myself. Okay, so then, this is one where an attachment might be helpful.
Yes, August 2nd, 2023, Buchanan to Tully, subject VM, voicemail transcript, and attachment audio numbers.doc. So this is a transcript, not the actual audio, despite the audio label, which whatever. And he says, sir, Julie Albert's voicemail transcript from June 13th, 2023 at 9:37 p.m. Wonder what that was.
And we don't know who she left that voicemail for, do we? Like, is Yuri saying it's no?
Yeah, I don't know anything about, who knows. Maybe it could be left on any number of people.
I've been saying this for so long. Even Yuri spells his own name wrong.
I was wondering about that. He spelled it in court, I thought, with a Y on the end.
Yeah,
I had been confused about that. I bet someone set up his email signature, and it's one of those where like he can't see his own signature. Someone else thought it didn't end in a Y. That would be my guess. Because I can't see my email signature when I send emails. I just know that it exists. Hopefully it's accurate.
But you would think eventually he would see something like this printed out and he would be like, hey, my name is spelled wrong. And he would contact somebody. But, we all just spell it wrong now.
Yeah.
This one is just a random constituent. Matt, if you're out there, great email. There's just a random man named.
Yes, I love this email.
Yeah.
Wait, let me look at the quote in the middle. Talked to friends, family members, people across the country have contacted me about the appearance of one of the biggest screw-ups / cover-ups / injustices in police history.
Their words.
Their words, yes. It is simply so disgusting, embarrassing, and obvious. And we didn't even know about the Proctor text, or he wouldn't have known about anything hardly that came out in trial at this point in 2020.
This was basically, he knew Haas longed to die in cold, and that was like it. And that they didn't go in the house.
Maybe.
Right?
Yes, I suppose. There were no solo cups in play, the leaf blower, none of it. And he is raging on them, and I got a real kick out of it.
I wonder if the article is a link to a Turtle Boy article, and that's why they, I wonder.
Yeah, I didn't get a live link.
Nope, just blue. But Matt, if you're out there, great email. Love it. Matt. Oh, and it's Matt M, but clearly not Matt McCabe, unless he's like a traitor to his family.
Yeah, I gave myself whiplash. I'm like, oh my God, Matt McCabe roasted them. Maybe that's why they did what they did. But no, it's not Matt McCabe at all.
No.
This is along the same lines.
Mm-hmm. Gregory, if you're out there.
This one I loved I actually love this one so much because your statements. So this is an email to Colonel Mon and Tully about the John O'Keefe investigation. And he says, your statements around these remarks have me wondering if you are both aware that Trooper Michael Proctor's report on the death of Officer John O'Keefe contains several misspelled names of people who are potentially witnesses or have other involvement in the case. I feel the significant number of misspellings is a poor reflection of the quality reputation the MSP stands for and has possibly had a negative impact on the proper investigation of this case. Well, sir, you are dead on, and we did not know all of these spelling errors at all for another 6 months, at least a year practically.
Yeah. Gregory, you were ahead of the curve on this one because that he was spot on, and like that was not a big thing yet.
No, he clocked it early.
I mean, to be fair, Yuri also spells his own name wrong, so maybe they're just used to spelling names wrong.
I appreciate that this guy appreciates spelling and was like, you know what? I see problems develop from things as simple as people just not knowing how to spell in official police reports. But then again, it's third language, so.
I feel like this is a perfect example of part of the reason why the case itself was so like sucks you in, because it really did feel like us randos on the street actually could kind of like put the pieces together and notice things that were off. Like it was like doing a puzzle, and they were giving us so much to work with.
That's how I got interested in any true crime, just in general. Aside from cases involving Georgia Kappelman, the other true crime cases that I am interested in involve like solve the mystery. Even Murdaugh, I was not sure how these pieces are going to come together. I think that that's the most interesting part. And this one obviously is in the most, tragic way, gift that keeps on giving, because there is just nonstop mystery.
And it felt like we didn't have to wait for trial for things to come out. Like it felt like we had, like you could drive by the house and start to put the pieces together. Like you didn't even need.
Was that a metaphor? Drive past the house, put the pieces together, picking up those pieces off the street corner, whatever. Yeah.
Like I literally was going through my camera roll of like pictures I took in the weeks that they were like, the snow was melting and they were collecting taillight. And I was like, wait a second, it was 60 degrees and sunny this day. Like I'm outside and there's no snow. And then Proctor saying that like there was still snow and they couldn't find more taillight. Like something's wrong here.
I think that video is how we all, or a lot of us, got introduced to you in the first place. And it's still the most amazing video because it's real time, real person, not associated with law enforcement of any kind, but you happen to live right there. It was hilarious. And it's the best illustration of of the absurdity of this that I have seen. It's a phenomenal video. I love it.
Well, thank you. The follow-up one that I did to it where I cut up the red paper, the trolls were like, she has access to construction paper. And I was like, I'm sorry, is this like a drug or something? They were very angry in the comments that I had access to construction paper.
Really?
Yeah, really? It was very weird.
So do you, if you live near like a CVS or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now there's see attached. Yuri, I'd love to.
I know. I don't know anything about this. It just says subject Webb SW, which I assume is search warrant. I don't know anyone involved in the case named Webb. I don't know if it's a company. I don't know anything about the Webb, but it was.
Does anybody in the chat know Webb? WEBB.
Would love to know.
Yeah.
It comes up a couple
Per your
times in these documents.
MassDOT. Okay, next one is what is an ACISS alert?
I don't know. But it is some sort of internal MSP thing because there's a few of them that say report requiring or report awaiting approval. So obviously they have to send something up the chain, which is very interesting, isn't it? Because didn't it seem at trial like there was no formal process for approving or finalizing or double checking reports?
Janelle Webb. That is a person. Who is that? That name is familiar. Yes. Who is that?
Really? It rings no bells for me, but I would love to know.
Chat knows. They'll get there.
I knew
You
someone
guys
would
are the
know.
best. I know. Okay, so this one we don't really know. Oh, she's the dispatcher. Dispatcher?
Oh.
Oh, she's the one who worked that the clerk who got fired, who ran the plate for Aiden. Like Aiden saw Jen McCabe's car at Michael Proctor's house, or somebody saw Jen McCabe's car at Michael Proctor's house, sent a picture of it to Aiden. Aiden wanted to verify that it was Jen McCabe's car and said, like, can anybody run a plate for me? He didn't even say who he thought it was. He just said, can you run this plate? Janelle Webb is the one who responded, said that license plate belongs to Jen McCabe. And then she ended up getting fired. But because she got fired, are we going down the wrong path? Is that wrong?
I think Michelle Littlefield is the one related to possibly, allegedly, I don't know, providing something related to the Chris Albert failed restraining order with respect to Turtle Boy in Stoughton District Court. I think that that was the thing that Morrissey was mad about, and he sent the email to the judges, right? That was Michelle.
She said that they were like testifying or something.
Something.
And then that's the one where they found out about Morrissey's burner account because of that. Okay. Look at that. Okay, so that was this one, the Webb phone. So they got her phone from that?
That's wild for something.
It's almost like they know how to do an investigation in anything except for the murder of John O'Keefe.
Or only when it comes to Turtle Boy. Which one is it?
Good question. Well, they did investigate ducks. And that was tangentially related to Aiden, but not really. So,
tough to say.
Priorities. Okay, so there's that thing that we don't know what that is. Now.
So I knew nothing, by the way, about that Janelle Webb subplot. Like not one single rumor, nothing about it. So that is totally new information to me.
Yeah, you guys are good. Okay, enter Guarino. I think Guarino, just side note, is more evil than that we're gonna find out that he has his hand in a lot that he shouldn't have. ACCI is the automatic accident notification system.
Okay.
You guys are good. Okay, so enter Guarino doing shady stuff, probably. But this is just regular, looks regular, but probably shady.
Right. So this is December 21st of 2023. He is trying to get information about Karen's phone, it looks like, from Apple, or maybe not her phone. I thought I saw a phone in there. Maybe just one of her devices. Who knows? Something related to Karen because it has her name and home address there, former home address, and basically saying, putting a hold on whatever materials Apple may have related to her in some capacity to then potentially collect.
Guarino's bad news. Bad guy. Okay.
Another web phone, just forwarding the same web search warrant.
She seems very important to them.
Okay, this one I would love additional input on if anyone knows about it, because I thought it was very interesting. I've gone down many like totally, stream of consciousness possibilities, but with related to this email. So this is January 10th, 2024 from Tully to two people I don't know. Oh,
that what are you? Kimmy is saying that about the date from the last one is the December 14th was when like all of that plot to send Aiden to jail started.
Oh, really?
I know because it's my birthday.
Oh my gosh, it was my grandmother's birthday. Great birthday. I
love that. Okay, so yeah, that date is interesting on that one. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No, that was very important and good to know, because that would make sense why months later they are forwarding this tangentially related woman's phone, extraction or whatever that is. That didn't look like an extraction attachment, but something, maybe just the search warrant itself. Okay, so we are here on January 10th of 2024. This is after Aiden has been arrested, right? He's in jail at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And it is before the January 22nd search warrant where Tully actually got Karen's phones. Okay. And it's two people in Mass State Police whose names I don't recognize. It looks like Tully's bosses, but it starts with an email from Fanning.
I was just going to say, I see a creepo's name down there.
He pops up all the time, but kind of like a silent operator. Ooh, love it with the details.
Look, if you put any of these emojis and stuff, I will see your chat right away.
Should I read the email?
Yes.
I'm conscious of the fact that you're like, I listen to stuff without actually reading it on screen as well. I listen to like my whatever, but so it's helpful to read. Okay. So this Fanning has sent an email to Tully with an operations plan report sent for approval. And then Tully forwards it to these two other people in MSP who I don't know, with two attachments. One looks like an ops code, and then the other one says Karen Reed, CJIS info. And it says, "Good afternoon. See attached ops plan for search warrant execution today. A uniformed Mansfield PD officer will accompany the execution. No MV, motor vehicle, I assume, no motor vehicle pursuit will occur if a vehicle fails to stop. I have approved the operation," I bet you have, "and forwarding for further approval."
Like they're expecting that Karen's going to take them on like a high-speed chase. Is that what that
bizarre
is insinuating?
Bizarre thing to include. And it looks like, so this is in Mansfield, and it's got an attachment that says Karen Reed. So I assume that it is seeking something from Karen Reed. But they didn't actually get her phones until the January 24th, pursuant to the January 22nd search warrant. Now, I heard something about recently, and I have not verified it, that there was a precursor search warrant, maybe from December, that Tully had for Karen's phones, and it expired. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, I think so. Because that was what Aiden was just talking about with the Natalie thing and the and Lindsay Gattani's like entrance into the story.
Okay, got it. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen that search warrant. We know what the January 22nd one says. In the storyline I have made up in my head, there was this original December search warrant from Tully. This is him trying to execute it and didn't get a chance to. In my head, I'm thinking it's January 10th. Karen's first trial was set for like March 1st, I think. This before Bev bumped it back to April. So at this time, she's basically 6 weeks out from trial, a very intense trial. I'm sure she has moved into the hotel at this point to work with her legal team all day, every day, and perhaps wasn't at home. Perhaps they tried to execute the search warrant on her at her house. She has moved out into the hotel. Again, this is my storyline in my head. And then they had to get a new one, and that would be the January 22nd one, search warrant that we all are aware of. Oh, Funky Rooster says she was in Florida. Okay.
She was in Florida in December. Kelly Reed, are you still here? Help. I some of the confusion about these things might also be that they didn't like know what was going on. Like they might have made like dumb plans. Like I wouldn't put it past these dudes to like have a plan that's like wrong.
Yeah, I think that has been confirmed via various evidence that has come out at trial. But the no motor vehicle pursuit piece is real wild if they are just planning on serving a search warrant in Mansfield at her house, for example. Ooh.
This was my addendum. So the warrant, I don't know if that goes with this. So Tully got a warrant for Karen's phones on December 23rd. Seizure only, no search.
That's the one, the precursor, because the actual one that got her phones is the one issued in January.
Okay. My timeline only goes through December. Now I lost that other document. Oh no. There it is.
So if anyone knows of anything else that happened on January 10th, I would be super curious. But that is, in my mind, this search warrant was not executed, ruining Tully's plans of destroying Karen's life in new and creative ways.
I'm going to need to make a new calendar because this one ends in December of 2023.
Love it. Pretty.
Okay. So now I tried to make all of the nasty things like Finger Blast Friday in a pretty font so that people wouldn't notice how nasty they were.
Great. Love that.
Got this tonight, but the contents might be gone if we don't write the warrant for it. That's from Nicholas Guarino to Brian Tully.
I didn't actually look at the timing. This is another email with Apple about preserving what I assume is the contents of Karen Reed's Apple account, phone, I don't know, something related to Apple. This is June 18th, 2024. So this is during trial, her first trial.
Oh, yeah. We just jumped right. This is why you put these in order, because the order really does make a difference. And I, for some reason, was just in my head still in January. So we're in the middle of trial. We're like towards the end of trial. We're like 2 weeks away from the mistrial.
Yep.
And the contents might be gone if we don't write the warrant. Yeah, what?
Yeah, Apple's like, hey, we're only keeping this stuff for like 5 seconds unless you do something else. So get after it. And I guess
Apple's like, we've been watching the trial and we think you have the wrong person. We're going to delete this.
I pray that there's free Karen readers inside these various agencies producing documents and whatnot. And I know there are people that work at Apple that are FKR.
I mean, it seems like we can get to this one later, but it seems like there might have been one in the Boston police.
Yes, we'll talk about that one.
Okay, so then this is just the end of that one. This is still part of that, or
that's the document that they attach to any public records that have redactions, usually redacted for like people's personal information, medical information, that kind of thing. So the agencies are required to provide a log of the redactions or anything they withhold. And that's what this is. It's the same language that they put for each category. It's very boring.
I just realized before we close that, because that's the last page of this, I've skipped over my very favorite line in the Albert harassment one. You guys, Yuri might not have been lying about English being his third language, because after he says, sorry, forgot to mention the live episodes, then he said, sorry for keep doing this.
Oh.
So maybe he actually doesn't speak English as well as we we're insinuating that he did. Okay, so that's your newest drop.
That's right.
We love it. That was fun. So
It is
now
fun. It's fun to see. Like, what are you gonna
I really like doing that. There's also just something fun about like looking at someone else's emails. Like it just feels sneaky. Should we talk about BPD now?
Let's do it.
Okay. Let's set the scene. We're gonna do a little commercial break to set the scene. And that commercial break is a really truthful statement by Commissioner Michael Cox. And by truthful, I'll let you be the judge. Hold it. Got to do this, and then this, and then this. Okay.
Your name came up during the recent Karen Reed trial. You got a visit from Officer Kelly Dever. The defense implied that you influenced her testimony. Do you want to respond to that?
I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case. You know, I have an organization full of over 3,000 people, and we support all our folks. And the reality is that, I get information passed on, whether people are high or low, and I encourage everyone, right? And if you're going to work here and you belong here, then we're going to encourage you. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion about
Did you tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck, like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed case? I never have said those words together. And so the fact is, it's much to do about nothing. We have employees here that we have to develop and encourage and do things, and I do that for tons of our employees.
Do you feel that you were inappropriately drawn to this as some sort of boogeyman?
That case is over, and we've got a lot of other stuff to talk about. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan. So.
Thank you.
I love the part where whoever's saying thank you tried to save him, and he still just kept word vomiting and then just blurted out, I was in the state of Michigan. Okay.
Such a bizarre thing to say. I was trying to figure out if he was talking about the meeting, but he was talking about the actual incident, as far as I know, the actual, death of Officer O'Keefe, which is totally bizarre.
Maybe he was just sharing, like, when kindergartners just blurt things out. Like, I went to Disney World. Like, he just wanted. I went to Michigan once. I'm from Michigan.
His press lady has got to hate her job some days.
Yeah, she has a shock collar on him now. And then one more supplement before we look at what you got from them, and it is Little Miss Dever.
What did you call her?
Little Miss Dever. And obviously Trial Channel obsessed with you. Hi. Okay.
The party about your potential involvement in this case?
No.
Did you have a conversation with anybody in the commissioner's office at Boston Police Department?
Not about anything malicious.
I didn't use the word malicious. Why do you say malicious?
I had a conversation, but it was my department saying, regardless of what I need to say on the stand, they support me.
You were asked to go to the commissioner's office, correct?
Yes.
How long had you been on the Boston Police Department at the time that you were invited to go up to the Commissioner Michael Cox's office?
It had to have been before the first trial, so... And I know it was when the agency released information to outside people.
That's not my question.
Okay, so I don't recall.
Okay. You don't recall how long you had been on the police force, generally, at the time that you were called up to the Commissioner's office, on the Boston Police Department?
No.
Was it 5 years, 2 years, 2 months, give me a ballpark.
So I've been on the department for 2 years and 2 months. I would say somewhere in the range of a year.
Okay. Did you find it unusual for would you call yourself a rookie back then?
Yes.
Did you find it unusual that a rookie police officer would be called up to the commissioner's office personally?
It was a reflection of how good of a leader he is. It was not.
Oh, it was a reflection of how good of a leader he was.
She definitely practiced
even
that.
Even if that was true. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, even if she practiced that in advance, it doesn't really make sense in context, or like she practiced that in response to a different question that she was not asked.
Or she just wanted to throw in some brown nosing for no reason. Like, well, I only just did that because like he's the best boss ever. Okay.
It did not work.
So, oh wait, can you tell us, because I like this story, can you tell us about getting the stuff from BPD?
Yes. So I've been submitting requests to BPD for a while related to Kelly Dever and getting rejected left and right. So with each request, I'd get a teeny bit of insight into what their problem was with the prior request. And so try to craft a more and more narrow, request. And then I realized I could use what she just said in that clip, which was, I knew it was after the agency released some. And I was like, oh, okay. So the meeting with the commissioner was after the TUI dump, and that happened on February 1st of 2024, or February 21st of 2024. And AJ said that he spoke to her sometime in April of 2024. So April 30th, just to be conservative, something in that range is when she changed her story, and therefore is when she met with the commissioner. So I could.
What do you mean? She didn't change her story. She just had a false memory.
You're so right. That was very poor word choice on my part. So I get that the whittled down time frame request for documents from the commissioner's office, or emails related to Kelly Dever. Finally, they are ready to produce this document, and they ask for a very long extension of time, which is fine. But usually that's when they're getting like a ton of documents. But so I didn't know how many documents I was going to get. But in the end, I got one document. And when they sent me the link, it goes to, there's a link in the email that you click, and it goes to your portal account with BPD. And I followed the link, and it wasn't working. So I had to call the public records office, and I was like, hey, can you help me? Like, I got a notification. There's something waiting for me, but I can't access it. And the guy who answered the phone is clearly like the guy who answers the phones. Like, he is not given a ton of authority here. But anyways, I'm like, can you help me? And he's like, okay, yeah, no problem. Looks up the number. I see it. He starts.
It's a Karen Reed adjacent.
Yes. He starts stuttering, and he's like, let me just make sure this was supposed to be released to you. I'm not sure. I'm like, well, it was supposed to be released to me. I got the email. He's like, oh, I'm not really sure though. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. Whatever it is. I don't know what it is.
That's why I'm saying there's an FKR in the Boston police somewhere, because this is the one document.
This is the email. Sure. It came in February 22nd at 6:23 p.m. So after close of business on February 22nd, this we know from other information is the day after the big TUI dump sorry, I could have worded that better probably. The production of documents from the FBI, 3,000 plus pages related, including ARCA, including the Kelly Dever report, interview report, whatever.
Including balloon knots.
All of those. Oh, yes, right. All the Proctor text, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this is the next day. And Stephen Kelleher from the Boston field office of the FBI says, sir, hope all is well. Just a reminder, the documents were released to the DA's office late last night. The officer we spoke about is Kelly Dever. If you have any questions, feel free to call me. And the subject line is disclosure reminder. would suggest an original reminder of some prior communication. Don't know what it was yet, but working on it. I couldn't, when I opened this, I could not believe what it said, because it was as though the FBI planned this long game all along in case Commissioner Cox said something ridiculous. They said the officer we spoke about is Kelly Dever. Could not have been more crystal clear.
I feel like this email is like dissecting Shakespeare, because the just a reminder is like, when was the first, like, did you talk yesterday? And he's reminding you about something from like the day of the dump. Did you guys talk a long time ago when they were first doing the investigation and said, hey, heads up, we interviewed somebody that's on your staff?
A lot of unanswered questions.
And then the officer we spoke about. So like if I was doing this like in school, I would underline the we spoke about, because like, when did you speak about it? Yesterday. Did you speak about it? And like, was Kelleher saying like, hey, heads up, just want to let you know this? And then Cox was like, you do the right thing. Like, what?
In my mind, I read this as a professional courtesy. Say, hey, we have this case. Things are about to become public. Among other things, it involves one of your active officers, and just wanted to let you know. Not like, hey, heads up, this like thing that could get you in trouble is about to happen. Or I didn't read anything sketchy into the FBI is actually doing this. I took it as a professional courtesy.
Yeah, I same. And then did Cox get scared?
I don't.
What like what?
Knows? I mean, so I don't have the original copy, but my friend Laura Kornacka, who's helps me a lot with with the BP. Oh, am I still there? Okay. She's been all over the BPD request and getting to the bottom of the Kelly Dever. She's amazing and very brilliant on her own. She's on Twitter as well. She got a calendar invite or request, whatever, that is, I see as sort of the bookend to this story. Maybe we don't know if it's the bookend or not. That's right. From the next day.
So that email happens, the one we just looked at was at 6:23 p.m. And then the very next day, 2 business hours later, there is a request for a meeting with Kelly Dever in the commissioner's office from 11 to 12, which means like he cleared his schedule. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a busy man. There's a lot going on in Boston. He cleared.
Yes, and he got this information at 6:30 p.m. Like dinner time, whatever. He is, in theory at least, not working. Got this email and was like, I would love to know what emails were disseminated from his inbox moments after this 6:23 email on the 22nd. But immediately at work, he has already contacted probably Kelly Dever's, commanding officer. I imagine that her soul left her body when she was asked to come to the commissioner's office immediately, because I imagine that she wasn't told until, 9 a.m. when the commissioner's assistant sent out this request, is what I envision. How scary would that be? Come to like the president of the universe's office immediately. It's so next level from principal's office, which I am still afraid of, obviously. I can't even imagine.
Something that I wonder about is like, she knew she talked to the FBI. She knew what she said. Like, was she scared then, or did she not get scared until mid-meeting with the commissioner when she realized the tone of his request?
That's a good question.
Because I want to know when things changed for her, because she lived from, what was it, August, the FBI interview, August 9th or something. Yep. And then this is February. So she knew that whole time. Like, I talked to the FBI. I told them, Higgins and Berkowitz were in the Sallyport for a wildly long time. I didn't see them leave. Like, when she didn't regret any, like she wasn't going to the FBI in that interim saying, oh my goodness, like, wait, I need to take that back. I wonder at what point between 11 and 12 that changed.
That is such a good way of putting it. I think you're totally right. I would also really love to know what piece of evidence was provided to her to get her to change her mind, because she said in her testimony that it was something released by the defense, which doesn't make sense on multiple levels. Someone told her the defense released something. The defense didn't release anything. They attached things to their filings, perhaps, and used demonstratives in court, and that's pretty much the only information that the defense is releasing. Otherwise, it's some sort of malicious implication with respect to the defense's conduct or something else. But anyways, it's nonsense.
She also kept calling them the fence. She said the fence released, and I was like, girl, enunciate. So she said that she left at 3:45. You put out, I don't have it here, but on Twitter, that like there wasn't a shift that ended at 3:45. So there was like one shift that went like 8 to 4. The other one went like 4 to 12 or something. So
I didn't really make much of that discrepancy based on my, at least with, NYPD and other police officers that I know. The 15-minute buffer is, that was like nothing in my mind. Like perhaps they just tack that on to the end of it for travel time or donning and doffing time, meaning like changing into your uniform. That's often what that is, why that buffer time might exist. I didn't read that as anything notable, but
I just thought it was weird because she was saying it like I was shown something definitive that tells me that I left at 3:45. And she's like, because that's when my shift ended. But like, what did they show you? Like a video of you leaving? Because if not, if it was just paperwork, then the paperwork is not going to say like 3:45 seemed like burned into her mind, but there is no paperwork that would have said 3:45.
That is a good point. I wonder if it was video, and I asked for the video of.
It wasn't. She didn't leave. She saw that. She did not make up this memory.
It was definite. She definitely saw it. It's just a matter of when she saw it, and there was only so many, a very tight time frame in which it could have happened. And I asked for all the video from January 29th of 2022 at Canton Police to see if we could figure out when Kelly Dever left, more so than any other shenanigans, because we've seen quite a lot of what happened with respect to the SUV itself. But they were disinclined to acquiesce to my request, as Emily D would say.
They did have like Higgins and Berkowitz's Sallyport swipe times, right?
They did, yes. A 167-page document that they introduced at trial showing all the swipes at Canton Police on January 29th, 167 pages worth. Tens of thousands, I believe, of this information. Now, Canton Police Department told me that they don't have records of key swipes, which is really crazy considering the 167-page document entered as an exhibit at trial that could only have come from Canton Police.
Wait, so now nobody has access to that anymore? That the 167-page, like, is Kelly Dever in there is what I'm asking.
I would sure love to know that. And I'm sure that she is in there because of the, I guess I don't know that you have to swipe when you leave, but at least you could see some activity. I'm sure she has to swipe something to get from dispatch through other doors to the outside, right?
And Higgins did say that you have to swipe to leave the Sallyport because that's where they keep like the prisoners or something. So you do have to swipe out from there.
That would make sense, obviously. Well, they said they don't have key swipe records. Not like we don't have them for that day anymore. Like we don't keep them. I'm like, well, I know that's not true.
Did I just invent a false memory? Because I remember them talking about that. So either false memories are contagious or you do have them.
We're going to find out one way or the other.
Yeah, and like Kate just said, would they have video of her walking to her car? Like, yes, we saw there that camera actually kind of worked a little bit. It didn't look like it was taking pictures on Mars like the rest of their cameras.
That's what I'm trying to get, Kate. That's exactly what I wanted to get from them. And they said it would jeopardize the safety. Now, I don't want to jeopardize the safety of any law enforcement ever, obviously. But I thought that they redid their whole camera setup since 2022, and a lot of this information is already public, a lot. So I'm kind of putting that request on ice for now.
Also, how is it going to jeopardize your safety? Because then people would know where the cameras are. Number one, wouldn't you want the place to be so secure that there's like cameras at all? Like there's not a blind spot. Like if you're that worried, you would want to just make sure everything is covered. And can't somebody just I don't know if you've actually like seen when you drive by the Canton Police Department, it's like on a main road right there. It's not like behind a gate, behind a wall. It's like there's like a cemetery, a couple houses, and then the police department, and then like a cemetery and a couple of houses. And it's not like in a fortress. Like you could drive by and see where the cameras are.
That's a good point as well. I think that they could offer, law enforcement safety, and that would be tough to defeat in a legal challenge, let's say. But, we'll see. We'll see what comes out. I'm so obsessed with the Sallyport video footage. Obsessed. I cannot let it go, and I'm not going to let it go.
I'm glad you can't let it go.
I can't. So hopefully I'll have more to share on that front soon.
So people are saying, but Deaver didn't go in the Sallyport. She was in dispatch. She couldn't remember where the cameras were. She does remember where the cameras were. Strange that the feds had an office within Canton PD, but there are no records. Yeah, it's all weird.
It's all weird. There was, he had an office there, their relationship born out of tragedy, which I believe is how Higgins explained all of that, but not really explained it. Who knows why he was there.
And like he sleeps there, and like I thought that was weird, like almost like I thought he was lying, and then it was actually in the text with Karen when he was like, oh yeah, well I'll just go sleep in my office. Like, ew. Like, do you shower? I mean, maybe they have showers there.
I bet they do. But I picture this as a lot of sleeping it off in Canton after, a night out at the Hilly. Have you ever been to the Hilly?
No. My husband was at the waterfall last night.
Really? Do you like ever go there?
No. I don't go out a lot anymore though. It was boring. The like country club we belong to is in Canton, so that's like when I'm there the most.
Right.
And then I take some detours and just drive around to see what's going on.
A lot of hot spots.
Yeah. It is weird. Have you been up here? Like, have you driven? There's something about it where when you see everything kind of like once you've seen like 34 Fairview in a picture and then like the Canton Police Department in a picture, when you're driving around, you're like, oh, everything is like right here. Do you know that Jen McCabe and Michael Proctor live 1 minute away from each other?
That seems like a fact that would have been brought up at trial. That seems kind of wild.
Yeah. It's like Washington Street is like the main road. Washington Street passes the Canton Police Department. You go down a little hill, and then you take a left and go like a couple houses down to go to Jen's house, and a right and a couple houses up to go to Proctor's house.
Walkable.
Yeah. And yet she drove, and that's how Janelle Webb lost her job. Everything in this story connects full circle.
Yeah, back to the same people. Proctor, Tully, Morrissey. I'll leave it at that.
They must be so scared of you. And I love that for them. Like you must
I'm
haunt their
sure
night.
they are.
In a good way.
I would like to think I am nowhere in their dreams or nightmares, one way or the other, but I can't imagine that they do, just because of like the general condescension that I would face from a lot of men that fall into his category, and the she can't do any damage piece, view, which is fantastic. I love it when I can tell that like an opposing counsel has put me in that box, because then they don't object to things that I do. They like hurt themselves very much based on their own condescension. And that is how I imagine if any of these people know of the existence of any of my suits in the first place, I imagine that's how they feel about me, which is exactly where we want them.
That is, they're like, oh, a woman, she's wearing pink. She can't do anything to us.
Yeah.
And you're right. No, she can't. Just pay no attention over here.
We're good.
Cuzco Wright said we need a video drive-by of those locations. What are you trying to get me witnessed intimidated?
I
Is
know.
that what happened to Aiden?
Very scary to live there and have an interest in this case.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, and other stuff that I would just mention about lawsuit wise is the lawsuit against the district attorney's office to get the sidebars, which I think is going to have some developments in the near future. As you know, I think I filed this lawsuit to get copies of all of the sidebars in both Karen Reed trials, because the district attorney's office said no to my public records request for them. And they
actually said no, they didn't just ignore it.
Yeah, they have been fairly good about responding to my public records request. The first couple they didn't respond to on time, but after that they've been responsive, if not timely. But they engage. And I've had, anyways. So the assistant attorney general, So an assistant attorney general represents MSP and MassDOT and the other suits. They don't represent the district attorney's office. Those are actual ADAs in the DA's office. Maybe that's how they do it. I don't know what the normal practice is. Makes a little bit more sense because the DA's office obviously is full of litigators, prosecutors, so whatever. So they contacted me and asked for an extension of time to respond to my complaint and preliminary injunction motion. Now, preliminary injunction motions are really hard to get, and you need a proper legal basis for bringing any motion. So not all public records requests are appropriate for preliminary injunctions. And in that case, that's when it's going to take a really long time to get a response. But there is a First Amendment constitutional right to access to trial transcripts. That is U.S. Supreme Court, SJC. Everyone is on the same page about that. If you are if your constitutional rights have been violated in connection with some other legal claim, that is a per se irreparable harm as a matter of law for the purpose of getting a preliminary injunction. So, meaning, because this has to do with a constitutional right, withholding the sidebars, I can try to get these sidebars pursuant to a preliminary injunction, which means the DA's office has to act really fast, which obviously they don't want to do. So instead of responding, they got the extension of time, or requested an extension of time. They wanted 30 days. I said, this is an emergency motion for violation of constitutional rights. I will agree to 14 days, which is a sort of a shorter time, but judges really don't like it if you won't agree to any extension and they have to get involved. Like, they hate that. And I don't want to start off my, first interaction with the judge annoying the judge. So I said, I'll do 14. And they said, nope, we need 30. I said, great. Please tell the court that your motion for extension of time is opposed, which is why, I never oppose motions for extension of time. It's very rare, but whatever. And then they were like, oh, okay, actually, we'll do what you said, but plus a couple extra days. I'm like, great, glad we can all agree. So what they told me was, we'll give this extension of time. We're going to file a motion in the Reed case and ask the court in that case to interpret, to clarify her impoundment orders. My entire lawsuit is the impoundment orders have expired. They expired the day of the moment of the jury verdict. Once they're expired, then it's over. They're not impounded anymore, and we can get the sidebars, right? Well, the DA's office tells me
that is that different than the thing at the end where they were like reading off that long thing where they were like, you have 10 days to unseal blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's different.
That's different. Okay. So this is just like they didn't have to do nobody needed to do anything. It's just like the trial is done, we have a verdict, and now it's unsealed.
Right. By operation of law, it is automatically unimpounded. And I looked at it 20 times. The impoundment order that governs the sidebars, I'm just looking at it, says the Commonwealth requests, the Commonwealth's motion says the Commonwealth requests the court appoint a stenographer for the trial and deem impounded the names of all jurors, all sidebar discussions, including sidebar discussions during pretrial proceedings, and that sidebar discussions and juror names be unavailable to the public until a verdict is rendered. That's what the motion said. And that motion was granted just in a text order that says allowed. So that means that what the motion requested is what the impoundment order is. And it says
so that even said that they could have the jurors' names out there, right?
So
that you just read?
That said that it would be impounded as well with the sidebars, but the court extended the jurors' names one
indefinitely
many times, and now it's indefinite. And in my motion, I said I don't want juror names public at all. I'm not asking for them. Please redact if they're even in there, which I kind of doubt. I mean, jurors are often referred to by their numbers, and I'm not sure that that's even a concern at all. But to the extent that it is, whatever, redact. Until a verdict is rendered is as clear, I think, as it gets. It is over. And the Commonwealth, the ADAs have told me that it's their position that it is still in effect. So I am very much looking forward to reading whatever they are filing in the Reed case to suggest that it's still in effect, which is very annoying because it's my motion, my argument. I made this separate from the Reed action for a reason, because it's a totally different set of rights and relief. And they are now bringing it, basically having the court litigate this issue in a case in which I can't respond, which I don't love. But if the court says, no, the impoundment order is still in effect, which is not, again, what the language says at all, it just can't be, then the only way to get to the sidebars would be to file a motion to intervene in the Reed case and ask the court to modify the impoundment order, which, if we're at that point, obviously the court's not inclined to do, and then appeal it when it is inevitably denied.
Interesting. Oh, so my goodness. Now I want them even more, because that means there's some stuff they really don't want us to know.
I know. It's a weird position for them to take, I thought, because it's so obvious otherwise. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what their arguments are. And I'm sure it will be framed in the, much like the Betero Pro Hoc from Brennan, I don't oppose, but here's all the reasons why you should definitely deny whatever request this chick wants.
That is sneaky. You asked on Mike's show about sidebars we want to see. I pulled up one that I want to see. Can I show you?
Yes, please.
I actually have two. Okay. These ones are not on Trial Channel because Trial Channel does the best job of cutting all this BS out. But this is the BS I actually want. Because when they came back from this, hold on, this is the one. When they came back from this, Yannetti looked mad. And I want to know what happened.
Yeah, he doesn't look too mad too often at all.
Oh, wait, I have to get rid of this. There's too many documents now. I feel like I don't know how you do it because there's so many things. Remove, Add. Okay. I have timestamps. Okay.
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, it might have been brought up, but pretty sure that would not have been within the budget. So
I want you to be detailed. I don't want you to guess.
So Brennan's asking about, did you do any crash test dummy stuff last year? And he's like, I don't know.
Without that preamp, go ahead and just ask the question, please.
Did you suggest doing crash tests last year?
I can't remember. We obviously didn't, but I don't know if that was brought up or not.
Do you, since your memory is difficult?
Sustained. Okay.
Look at Nettie just got up. Hold on. Watch Nettie stand up. I have never seen this man like fired up like this.
Sustained. Okay.
And then CBS plays some weird music, but then when they come back...
Oh, I thought that was the intro to How Will I Know? That's what it sounded like.
It does sound like that. They play this weird background music. I just didn't know what YouTube is allowed to play with music. They play this the whole sidebar. I also never watched on this channel, and they have different camera angles than I had like ever seen before, so that was kind of fun. Okay, now this is them coming back. Look at Nettie's face. What just happened?
He is mad.
Right? And then a little while after this, he starts whispering to Karen, but like, what did you guys just talk about? I want to know.
And it's like the 9 millionth wildly inappropriate commentary from Hank during this cross, which is, it's so painful to listen to because he's doing so many things that are not only bad practice, but also against the rules. And he knows the rules because they're very obvious rules, and he is doing it anyway. And it kills me.
Because your memory is difficult. And Rentschler was just like, what?
Yeah, right. Doesn't make sense in the English language in terms, just grammatically. Doesn't make sense, but you tried to get in a burn wherever you could just because you thought you could.
And guess what? Maybe they didn't use crash test dummies because it was really obvious that the guy was not hit by a car. And then now that they realized what they were up against, they had to get rescue Randy. The end.
The end.
Wait, and then there's one more sidebar from Rentschler that I need. I need you to not let off of them because I need to know what happened.
Every time I look back at like, you know, when I watch Next Witness, which I also love Next Witness, and it reminds me of the sidebars of the just crazy things that happen. I'm just reminded of more and more that are gonna be good.
Something I love on Next Witness, I always feel like it's so impressive that like all these different creators are watching in real time and they all have like such similar reactions.
Yes.
It's like it's just really cool to like they all stop it exactly at like nobody told them like stop it here and react to this. It's like everybody at the same time is like
Yes, Shannon Burgess would be a prime example of that, and also basically every word out of Kelly Devers' mouth.
Shannon Burgess just started a company. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, he started a company. It's called like something forensics.
Really?
And Reddit sniffed him out and was like, hey, by the way, found you and you still don't have a college degree.
I am dying to see that website.
I think it didn't have it. It was like nothing was there. Like it was like located in Texas, like not even a building.
That's for the best.
Yeah. He's doing everything he can to avoid going back to school. Okay.
Right.
This
and he
one
really doesn't need a degree. I have worked with plenty of experts that don't have degrees but are very brilliant in other ways or very experienced in something specific at issue, and yet he felt the need to lie about this.
Just own it. Ian Whiffen owned it that he didn't have a degree. They asked him, do you have a degree? And he said, no, I'm from London.
Great. Perfect example. And then Brennan tries to list people, including Oprah, who has a college degree. I'm like, this is so offensive. She has a 4-year grad, but that's the one that we're going with as the example. And Steve, I can't. I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. And also just don't lie. Just be like, oh, I don't have a degree because I got a job that I was making good money and I didn't want to pay for college anymore. And now I've had that job for 10 years, so I have a lot of great experience. The end.
The end.
The mendacity. Okay, this one, 34, 20. This one made me laugh because of Tara Kerrigan's reaction when they walk by.
Did you see any evidence that Mr. O'Keefe had a drinking glass outside of 34 Fairview Road that morning after he got out of the defendant's Lexus? Do you understand that?
What do you mean evidence?
Drinking glass. Did you hear anything about that in your review about?
What evidence would there be? Is there a video or a photograph, you mean, of him holding a drinking glass? Because otherwise there's a drinking glass there, but there's no evidence that he had it.
We have a clip, right? Okay. Judge, can I come sidebar?
Is that a normal thing also? He is questioning and then he just randomly says, Judge, can I come to sidebar?
It's what, people who are acting within the rules normally do if they are going to try to introduce something they know is really close or over the line of appropriate. And so you ask in advance before you introduce it to give the judge a time to rule on it. Otherwise, you can poison the jury pool, create a mistrial, that kind of thing. So I'm shocked that Brennan, well, I don't know that that's what Brennan's doing, by the way, but that's what it is normally used for when you are requesting the sidebar yourself.
Oh, so then let's see when they get back. Does he introduce the glass? Hold for Tara Kerrigan's face. Wait. Why is she looking at him like that? And then what is she whispering?
It was very intense, and her face was redder at when she started it. A lot of yep.
And then what happens when they get back? It's a long one.
Oh, going to the fan. It must have been something good. See, another example. Sidebars we need.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Now, I'm so happy you're doing this.
Police department did around Mr. O'Keefe's body. You were asked about whether or not any plastic taillight shards were found.
So they didn't end up doing anything with the drinking glass when they got back.
No, they didn't, but he sure tried to add that into every question that he asked him in the most inappropriate way. Or with Welcher, and he's like, well, where did the waterfall glass end up? And no, it's not the waterfall glass. It is a glass that has not been proven to have any association with any of the places they visited or the house, because we don't know.
But there was a straw. So Karen did it.
Yep. That's how you nailed it. There couldn't have possibly gotten there any other way. There's probably a straw in the street in front of my house right now.
Plows had been going up and down the street all day, but the straw was just like perfectly stayed there, just holding on tight to prove a murder.
We got to get that CERT report and get the longitude, latitude of everything in that front yard area or whatever. I am fascinated by that.
Yes. Like, there was no CERT report, but there is a CERT report. So is that actually, I wanted to ask you this, like, is there anything that like regular people can do to be helpful to you in this? Like, do you have a GoFundMe? Are there templates of easier jobs that we could like take on that would lighten the load?
I mean, there's more information out there related to these cases. And I think that the things are being generated that, I mean, I'm very curious if the defense team actually had that CERT report, considering I see why the CERT report wouldn't be introduced in evidence, but he suggests that there are coordinates for all of the items found, which I know that they didn't have because of the lengthy cross coordinates discussion or examination. But so anyways, there's information out there that exists, but it seems like it's really hard to get without a lawsuit, frankly. I was really curious, are there communications between MSP and the medical examiner's office in the 90 days after around the autopsy time, trying to convince Dr. Scortibello to change her determination? I would be curious about that. They're not going to provide any documents at all, even emails.
Was that Proctor in that picture that they said was Watson with little baby Connor Keefe?
We'll never
because
know.
it looks like Michael Proctor to me, stands like Michael Proctor, and then I looked up all the people named Watson that I could find in the MSP, and none of them looked like Proctor.
Oh,
like
really?
That man. Yeah. There was like 2 people named Watson that there were like Facebook posts about that was like, we're welcoming Sergeant Watson back. And it was like a heavier man with like thick gray hair. Like it wasn't even somebody you could like maybe mistake. And like that was, I'm looking at a picture and it's Proctor. Like, why are we, I mean, yeah. So if there was a document that said that he signed in with little baby Connor Keefe that day.
Great example. There's a great example. And there's just a lot of information out there. But like I said, I was having very little luck aside from this BPD gem. But I don't know, how much of that was trying to avoid further lawsuits, because I'm sure the AG's office has contacted some of these larger agencies and was like, give that crazy lady whatever she wants. And they did.
Love it. That is Watson. That is Proctor.
Do you think Proctor knows how to use the camera with that type of lens?
I think he would wear it like a prop, like he was there to like bully Scortibello, and he's like, okay, like go get your toy. Like when like kids go to the dress up area at school, and then they're like, now I'm a police officer. Like that's him. He's like, now I do autopsies.
I sadly feel like that is the closest that anyone has come to assessing that situation.
I made a video once about how when Trooper Paul was up on the stand, it was like when little kids have like career day and they like dress up as the career they want. And then the real people come, like then the ARCA guys come and they're like, we're the real crash reconstructionists. Like, good job, little guy. You could be one too someday.
That sounds about right. Yes. Mm-hmm. Where's Trooper Paul now?
I love Trooper Paul.
I guess, honestly, he was vindicated. Definitely the most useful document I got from DOT was his report reflecting that he came up with the just stand there and tilt your arm and hold a cup test, long before Welcher did.
Do you think that when Welcher's report came out, Trooper Paul was like felt validated? Like he was like, I did a good job. Like they couldn't come up with anything better.
Yes.
I love that for him. What a cute little baby.
That guy. I mean, I can't.
I just think that I don't think that he knew what he was getting into. And then they started to just tell him like, this was here, this was here, this was here. It's like, make a math problem that makes it fit. And he's like, okay. He did ballet.
I would also like to say something interesting that we learned about Trooper Paul. That is, people keep saying like, oh, Proctor, you had solved this case within 16 hours, 18 hours, whatever. I'm like, isn't it like 4? When did he come on the case? 8 a.m. or something? Let's say conservatively 8 a.m. He has called Trooper Paul to do a reconstruction of the crash by 2:30 p.m. He has not even seen Karen's car yet. But he has already lined up the crash reconstructionist. He hasn't seen the cracked taillight yet. And yet he is ready for this. He doesn't get to her parents' house until after that. And Trooper Paul has already cleared his schedule for a couple days later to do his, whatever he called it, field test or whatever it was. But that was it. It was like 6 hours later that Trooper Proctor former Trooper Proctor, was like, oh, this is what happened. And let's get everybody lined up to prove it.
And I don't know if we'll ever know the answer to this. I go back and forth in my head of Proctor knew that he was telling a story versus Proctor was so lazy and Jen McCabe said like Karen hit him. So he was like, oh, okay, Karen hit him. Let's make the pieces fit. And I go back and forth like constantly about if I think that he was like covering up from minute one or if he was dumb from minute one.
I think I would go with the laziness piece just because of the, the brass are want answers or whatever those texts were. Like he wanted to show that he solved the murder of a law enforcement officer in lightning time. And whatever that took to get there, I think was his goal. Yeah.
And so like it took 1 second of like Jen and Brian Albert being like, yeah, like Karen was outside and then like she backed up and he's like, great, solve the case.
Done. Tell the brass.
Yeah. He's like the guy who would flip to the end of the book and then tell everybody the answer to the like twist at the end.
Hate that guy.
Yeah. Yep. Oh my gosh. I could do this forever. Like I'm gonna let you have the rest of your day because if I don't, I could literally keep doing this forever. But I am so excited to see what else you're gonna uncover. You were like the person who was meant, like we all just got obsessed with the case and then we're online being like, wow, like look, Trooper Proctor is a loser. And then you're like, I will get every single email that you've ever sent in your entire life and I will show the world. And I love that for us and for you so much.
Thank you. Yes, I am very motivated by I got interested in the case probably because of like the low level misogyny that seemed to like permeate every single thing that happened very early on. I was like, this pin it on the girl vibe that I'm getting really, that is like the fire that burns in my belly on a daily basis anyway. And I'm like, you know what? You think that you can just do this to her and get away with it. That can't be the case. And we watched that whole trial, both trials, and still don't have all the answers. I looked at this public records law. It's actually really awesome in terms of getting stuff, and the court system, the court's decisions on public records cases are really favorable to citizens who pursue them. And I'm like, let's do this. If I get a bad ruling by the trial court, I do appellate litigation all the time. I'll file an appellate brief in 2 seconds.
This is why you were the person for this. I'll file that in 2 seconds.
It's the opportunity is there and I want answers and I'm still mad about so many things that happen. So here we go.
I feel like the more answers you get, the more questions we have. And then there are more answers to those questions. And it's like we're coming up with new questions still, even with the trial being over.
Yes, totally. Like what happened next? What piece of evidence was shown, did Dever see that changed her story? And what conversation happened prior to the 2E document dump that led to that disclosure reminder email? Like a million questions just from each little thread.
Do you have a list of all the questions that you have, or are they just floating around in your head?
Tragically floating in and out of my head all the time.
I feel like we should start when I was teaching, there's a thing called Jamboard where you can like, the kids could all go on and like add in Post-it notes onto like a Post-it note board. I feel like we should start a Jamboard for people to just put all the questions that they still have and just keep a list of them.
That's a good idea. And that I tweeted a while ago, like, what public records stuff would you like to see? And there were great responses.
I'm writing myself a note.
Yes, I will take whatever responses I got to that tweet and make a list of all the ones that are still outstanding, because there were some good ones in there. And I was like, ooh, there's a lot of stuff people want that we are not going to see. We're not going to get Proctor's phone contents unless it becomes the subject of some illegal action, and
also it seems like there's some things on there I don't ever want to see.
Ever. Honestly, the vast majority of it, I could have done without the balloon knot commentary for example, that alone. But it's obviously so much worse than that even.
Like the union was like, bye.
That never happened.
No.
so wild. And they released the statement saying that right away too. Lynn Beeland. Which one?
Card. Print this. Card. Yeah, it's like we're only talking about like these couple little guys, and then there's all the Morrissey stuff, which is just like a whole separate episode.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to post those emails on X?
I might try to find someone who can like post them in a whatever, because it's like 30 pages long or whatever. It's not a very X friendly type of whatever. I'll see if someone can post them comprehensively.
Child channel, I'll send them to you. I felt so cool when you sent me that. I was like, oh my God, I have documents like nobody's seen. You were like, I'm sending them to you and Betero. And I was like, excuse me. Me?
Just, people who might be interested in them.
I've literally never felt cooler in my entire life.
Well, you never know what you're going to get. I opened up those DOD documents the other day and they were super boring. And I opened up that one BPD document and it was super interesting. Semolina, you are so welcome. I'm glad to help however I can.
Can you come back when there's more documents to talk about?
I would love to.
Anytime with you. I'm literally obsessed with you.
Well, it seems like MSP is going to make it take as long as possible. So this could be like months, year, who knows how long. It's not going to be years because I'm going to have to file something asking for a more reasonable schedule, and that if that happens. But regardless, there are going to be plenty more opportunities. But I am so thankful that you have me because obviously you're amazing. I love your humor and that the wholesomeness that you bring to this this cesspool and everything else. And I'm very thankful for your involvement in Karen Reed.
If you ever want me to just go knock on their office door, I'll just go by and be like, hey, my friend was trying to get some paperwork. If you could, can I have it? Thank you.
I would never put you in that position.
I don't mind. Drop Carter off at school and then go on some like spy missions. No, for real.
That's exciting.
Thank you so much. This was the best afternoon. I love
Thank you for having me very, very much.
I cannot wait to do it again.
We will.
And thank you, chat, for knowing every single answer to every single question that we had and propelling this all forward. You guys you're all amazing. I love this.
Oh, Romy, hi. All right.
Okay. I will have a great afternoon, everybody, and you're going to hear Hank singing now. Bye.
John Keefe was 46 years old. Psst, Peg, time to cry, because remember, oopsies, you thought he was 45. John Keefe was not a buffalo on the prairie. When I was a kid, I used to throw boulders off of bridges. Ah, what a thrill. The dater is the dater. And tonight, I'm going on a dater with Shannon Welcher. We have no idea how the collision happened, but if you have any doubts left, remember this. My best friend, Jen McCabe, said Bella's mom. Of course Karen hit him. Speaking of Jen McCabe, she's a soccer mom. She doesn't use Signal like ARCA. She keeps everything right out in the open, like how long until John dies in the cold. Didn't need Michael Proctor. Tully is our Uber driver now. As the trial ends, we remember Barrows lied not, Kelly Dever. I know our times changed to whatever, but cops can't solve crime in bad weather.